Although Sri Lanka has led South Asia in terms of the Human Development Indices in the past, the HDI growth rate has seen a dip. While the top HDI rankers are Switzerland, Norway and Iceland, all in the 0.9 point levels, Sri Lanka is in 73rd place with 0.782 points. Those most impacted with the economic crisis were children, with most of them battling malnutrition, wastage, acute malnutrition and being underweight, which naturally impacts physical and mental development. With us today are the founders of the Affinity Foundation, Michael David and Dinesh Gadiarachige, childhood friends who joined forces to ensure that most left out of the nutritious equation at least get a basic meal. You're doing a great job with trying to tackle malnutrition, which our children are now plagued with. What is the state of childhood malnutrition in the country today?
In a rural context, we see that it's getting worse, Savitri, because the urban population, I think, has adjusted to the cost of living. But in terms of the rural population, we see it increasing because the inflation is on the rise and the cost of goods are rising as well. So I think the parents are finding it a little difficult to tackle in terms of providing the proper nutrition for children. The food is available, but I think the proper nutrition is what they're not getting.
So what are the major issues actually preventing children from having proper nutrition?
There are problems with giving out the nutritional food. Like now, for an example, eggs, fish, or meat, or high protein type food. So that is where the biggest problem lies. They can eat something, but that's not enough.
So what is the correlation between school attendance and having a good meal?
The main problem we were trying to face and take head on was the child being taken out of school and put into the workforce to provide some sort of economic relief for the parents. So by taking out that cost of providing the meal to the student, it's an incentive for them to come back to school. And we have seen that happening with the attendance numbers going up, even in their participation in school. They have that energy level is sustained to actually absorb the lessons.
What does the Affinity Foundation do? How did it come about?
After the Aragalia, we realized that things are not going to get better for the next 5 to 10 years. So without waiting for the government or blaming everyone, we wanted to see what we can do. So Dinesh and I registered the foundation, hoping to expand and help as much as we can.
How do you manage tackling the provision of meals in these impoverished areas?
First, we get in touch with the zonal director, and then we get the information of the school who's lacking the food program from the government. With the zonal director's direction, we meet the principal and the parents and the teachers. We have a menu for the 5 days. We get hold of a parent who is close to the school, to the children, so who will cook with affection. And also on a daily basis, we get updates of the food, of the entire, they take photographs and they send it to us.
Your foundation works with 10 schools around the country. Yeah. What are some of the sobering observations you've made during that time that you've worked?
One would be the passion of the children to actually come to school. They love to participate, they love to be in school, but you see them coming in with old tattered clothes, slippers. It's heartbreaking in a sense. So that's why we have sort of concentrate on a more, rather than just a meal, we go on a 3-pronged approach, which is growth, education and attendance. So the food provides the nourishment, then we monitor their education, whether they're actually absorbing the lessons, and if they are actively participating in school rather than going to work and coming to school for 3 days or 2 days. So we try and enforce that on the children and the principal to uplift the lives. Hopefully we'll see a positive outcome.
What would you like to see happen in the country during the next 10 years?
Ideally a big change in the system and bring in proper processes.
Obviously policy changes in terms of a lot of things. I would talk only education here. That is where you can give the best. Because if you have a proper education system, you see the rest of the world, how they're operating, how they work, but it doesn't start from after maturing. It starts from the day one, from school. Because your next home other than your house is school.
fantastic effort indeed, and it's just more power to you to continue doing what you do.